all the points that the guys have shown you, but you've got to keep that commercial. So what we've asked Sam to do on this is do a real-time shave based on that. You've had education from Wall, you've had education from the BBA, and then you're in your commercial environment and you're going to do a shave in that pace. So this is what's coming up now on this next session. Will be Sam Campagna doing his alternative barbering company shave here in his salon.
So thank you, Simon, for the introduction back into the stage here at Barber's Arms. So as he said, I'm going to be performing a shave. So we were lucky enough to have Gary Machin show us his shave using the BBA products. I recommend using one product line when you're doing a shave. And so in this case, I'm using the BBA products. Obviously, we do our own 13-step shave at Wall. And today I'm going to be showing you how we perform it here in our salon at Alternative Barbering Co. So obviously, our first steps are the regulation of gloves. Something Gary highlighted again to us at the event that he hosted at Wall. A lot of us don't use, I haven't in the past. It's something that is in the regulations, so it's something that you should be aware of. The other thing that we always make sure here in the salon is that we're popping our blade in the cutthroat before we start, and we normally do this in front of the client, so the client would be sitting up at this stage, so they know that we're starting afresh, something that induces a little bit of confidence into the client. So once that's all ready and loaded, we can have that there setting aside. What we normally do is I normally pop this in hot water for the same reason as the brush. Just kind of warms it up. It's not a shock to the face. So it kind of just brings us up to temperature. So what we'll do first is we'll add a face wash to the client. So we'll add a little bit of this here, and this just helps exfoliate the skin. Something that we always want to start afresh with. Not only does it make them feel better and clean, it obviously helps us remove any of the dead skin and dirt. Pop one layer on, and then we just add a little bit of water onto that and just let it foam ever so slightly in our hands, and then carry on. So again, we're starting here at the forehead, working that in, working it down onto the nose, into the areas that we'll be working on. Again, a circular motion just allows us to break down the skin and any sweat or dead cells. So once we've done that, we'll add our hot towel. So again, just make sure that the client is aware of what's going on right now. So pop it round like that. We'll let that rest for a little bit. So what we normally do is we have disposable towels that we use normally through hair washes, and again, something that we use around the client to then wipe our blade on. And obviously for the shave, we use one of the heavier towels. They just help, they keep the heat better. So it kind of just like heats up for a long period of time, make sure that the skin's prepped. For the guys who don't do shaves and don't know, any oil or water on the hair reduces its strength by about 40%. So again, this is just a better starting point. The other tip about shaving is the irritation side. We take off as much hair and skin. So almost in equal measures, we take off the same amount of skin as we do hair. So if we haven't softened the hair, if we haven't prepped the skin properly, it tends to lead to irritation. So that's something that we want to avoid throughout the whole shave. This allows us to get that a little bit closer, for the client and retain its kind of, comfortable and its level of irritation to the client. So we're just going to take this one off now. Just take that off. Again, nice and clean, starting fresh. And I love this part because it just always makes you feel like you're having a really nice massage. Just working through that. And pop that to the side. Then the face oil. So again, with the same principle of softening the hair, this is something that we just really want to work into the skin here. And oil obviously doesn't evaporate at the same rate as water, so this will retain into the hair a lot longer and help that shave. And obviously stuff like, the razor gliding and stuff like that has an impact. So we're working that through. At this point, I normally just massage the skin, just really start irritating the hairs, moving them around. And sometimes this is more from a sensory point of view to your clients as well. So we're pulling on the actual skin itself and working up towards the sinuses there. And that really kind of starts releasing a bit of tension. It's a bit like a head massage. So we're bringing it in. So you've got all your glands here, working it through, working it up. And again, on the other side, just working it up. And it's just about pressure. It's about applying the right amount of pressure to there. And again, other sensitive parts like underneath the bottom lip and on the top lip. As you can see, my hands are still at the bottom, kind of almost caressing the lymph nodes and the upper and bottom lip. And again, just bringing it up, this really kind of releases a lot of tension. So something I'm trying today is like a pre-shave butter. And again, we're just exploring the range here that Gary used on his event. So what I've done is I've had my brush in hot water. I'm going to grab a little bit of shaving foam and add that onto there. Now, a lot of my shaving I learned back in Sicily from my uncle, who's a barber out there. And he always used to treat the brush in this way. So he'd put foam in it and he'd just work it round into the brush like this and kind of get it nice and frothy before. So it's kind of about that circular motion that you're going to achieve once you put it on the face. So you can see there, and then we want to apply this circular motion that really gets in between the hairs, lifts them up, and again with the same principle as moisture on the face, locks that moisture in, makes it more comfortable. A lot of people struggle around the nose and the top lip area. So one thing I would say is with the brush, an easy way around it is to squeeze the brush in the middle and you get two tapered edges. And again here, you can, like a paintbrush, you can just paint it onto the top lip. You're not getting it everywhere. If you want extra, I'll take it off the brush and dab it onto the upper lip there. So we're ready to go. So a lot of people, again, if they're a little bit uncomfortable with shaves, tend to worry about the kind of bottom section where the hair is going upwards. So this is my advice and how I would teach someone to do a shave in the shop. I kind of analyse that skin before, I analyse the hair. So I look here and I basically got this bottom section here is reversed. So that's working its way up. And again, through here, it's the same way. So from here to here, his skin is in the reverse direction as the rest. So what does this mean? This means that as you're doing your, for example, 13-point shave, you've got your direction and your strokes to which you go in. And then some of that requires some variation in terms of how the blade would drag. And again, what I tend to do is I'll try and let the blade do the work. So all that prep leading up to it is the most important part for then easing off the technique of how you use the blade. So we'll start here. And again, for me, I work down to where the jawline is. Then start lifting the skin up, okay? We want to get some tension there. And again, here, if you're comfortable with reversing your blade, you can reverse your blade. Again, here on the chin, you're going to start getting some resistance. So where I tend to stop is in line. So if you were doing a goatee, you're leaving a goatee there, this is where I would work from. So I'd mark myself there, almost like a guide, okay? And we've got a clean edge, okay? But bearing in mind, we're leaving this bottom bit. So again, from here, I'll work to that point, work to that point. There's two reasons. Like I said, A, the hair's in a different direction, and the longer we're leaving this on, the more that hair's softening up. So we're accelerating that process and making it steep more into the hair. Again, here, I tend to do one side and then the other side, okay? So here, with the tash, again, that's something that a lot of people lose a little bit of confidence with. If you've done beard trims, you can have a similar technique with the clipper. So what we want to do is we want to lift the nose away on the opposite direction, okay? Depending whether you're left-handed or right-handed, you'd use the front of the blade or the back of the blade. So here we want to bring that in, and we just want to do a downstroke, just let the blade glide. As we move on, it's like another section. So we're still pushing the nose that way with one finger, thumb to stretch that out. So again, we can come down, okay? As you get more confident with this, you can come across directionally as so, yeah, okay? So again, here, around here is a very important part. I tackle this two ways, either come in from there with the stretch, so we're stretching the skin upwards, removing any like plumpness, so we've got a nice square, flat edge to work on.
Some people are asking as well, coming in, if you've been on a wall shaving course or a BBA signature course. In your salon, how long would you normally allocate for a shave?
So we have, well, the answer to your first question, have I been on any of the courses? I've been on the wall course. And as I said before, we were fortunate to have Gary Machin come and show us his BBA signature shave, the wall BBA signature shave, with some of his range of products as well. In the shop, we tend to, I mean, I predominantly do the shaves here, and we have two levels of shaves. We have what I used to refer to as a classic Italian shave, and that again was taken from my uncle in Italy, and shaving there is very much, barely hot water and no towels whatsoever. So it's very much a very straightforward shave. So it's more about practicality, I suppose. So we had that shave, which was referred to as the Italian shave, which we used to allow 20 minutes for. And then we had our luxury shave. So this is a variation of our luxury shave. So at the moment, we don't particularly feel comfortable to use the steamers, just given the current climate and the circumstances. So we do it this way without the steamers. But normally we'd have the steamers, so that would be also part of our prep. And we would allow about 45 minutes for that. So that's all face massage and all the relative, products, oils, massages, etc., that you would expect to find in a luxury facial.
And the next question I want to ask you for our viewers as well is shaving in your salon that you would only do by booking system, or can people just decide to have a shave on the day? So
I suppose the right answer to that question is they can decide to have it on the day, but it would also be very dependent on whether we had space, because we're all bookings. If someone would have that, then obviously it would be a matter of a bit of luck or not, in short. So normally you would book, and again, apart from a handful of clients like Danny here, they tend to treat themselves and have the shave when they have a haircut. And then as the other part is basically all vouchers and experience. People buy it instead of buying socks for Christmas or like Father's Day, etc. So it's a really good package to offer, even in the salons, just based on, again, that voucher point of view. And some men that haven't had it are always wooed by how close and what an experience it is, because their mindset is, oh, it's just a shave. And then you start educating them on how to look after their skin, how to prep their hair, their beard hair in the morning, and it kind of just brings them up to a whole new level. Again, a lot of people have, going back to this part here, again, I'm just going to keep that lined out so you guys can see at home. That's the area I'll work on after. I'm not going to pull down on that, okay? The likelihood is if I pull down on that, I'll get the breakage and you'll get small little blood dots, which isn't a big deal, but if you can avoid it, it's also good. So again, here with the chin, I come across this way and I'll show you how I do that. So we're stretching the skin again and we're just working across. As you can see that I'm using my thumb to keep the tension. So I've got this finger here really pulling on the skin because I've shaved that part. So I've got a lot more tension. A lot of people find gloves a little bit slippy, but if you're taking the shaving foam off in the right area, then you can use that as your pivot point to stretch the skin. I'm just using my thumb to apply that pressure. And now I've moved it here because I've cleaned that hair off and the foam. So I've got a point where I can use. And again here.
One of the things I always say when we're doing shaving, that your dormant hand, the hand that's not shaving, whether you're left-handed or right-handed, whatever hand you use the blade in, the other hand has to be so close to the blade. There's no point having the hand at the top of the head. You have to have the other hand so close to the blade.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think to have like one hand up here and be shaving down here, yes, you'll have stretch, but I don't think you'll ever achieve the accuracy. And sometimes it's about just taking away that slight risk of ever the blade pulling or potentially cutting someone. So again, I totally agree with that's the way that you should do it. And again, here through the lip, where people find around this area, these areas here, a little bit of a problem, because as the top lip folds down on some people, you find that if you pull that, you can see the hair. So again, this is very much, I always used to use 2 fingers for this. And again, in the same way, just stretch that out. I'd make it flat. So here I can go straight over the mouth because it's completely flat. I'm not going to cut them. Again, the way I would tackle this area through here is what we do here is come behind the client here and we stretch it. So we're stretching using the same technique. We're stretching one finger and the thumb. So I'm flattening out that area and following the curve as much as I possibly can, given the shape of the chin.
Don't forget, guys, all the products you are seeing being used here in this session are all in your dashboard in the interactive room. So just click the cart on the side to view and to even buy some of these products and some of the special offerings today here on the Barber's Arms Education Day. Don't forget every Friday night to join me and Gary, my co-host, Gary Machin, on the Barber's Arms every Friday night at 8 p.m. We will be showing episode 24 in the next week or so. And nearly 4 million viewers now over lockdown have been tuning in. This is our second Education Day, fetching you educators from the UK, from Europe, from Australia, from China, from India, and North America, all joining us on our 24-hour educational special.
So now we're going to go over our second shave. And again, I've still left the bottom here, so I'm leaving that to the end. And I'm making sure I'm getting any of the little stubborn hairs that are lying around. So this shave is generally a lot quicker, and you can use some different techniques, like reverse your blade here and go over the chin, much easier.
Don't forget as well, if you miss any of the sessions as well, we'll be hosting them all back on our website after the event, and all the notifications will be there and sent ready for you to watch. So don't forget to share this as well. And our website is thebarbersarms.co.uk, where you can watch every session from the 6th of September and here our 24-hour event as well. Will all be on the website for you guys to watch.
So as you can see now, I'm going to tackle this part here. So by having the bit above it that's nice and clean off now, we can have an upward stroke, and it allows us just to take the hair off as gently as possible. And again, just easing that irritation. So in the same way that my fingers, the other hand here, look, you can see it's very close to the blade and I'm working on it, keeping that skin nice and stretched. Another technique that I feel gets missed in a lot of education with shaving is if you pull the hair, if you pull the skin as tightly as possible upwards. There's a technique I use that we're actually, instead of we're coming down, but we're working upwards. So working upwards. What that's doing is, in the same way some people stretch a fade, just popping any existing hairs off the face. So it's just kind of bringing them up a little bit so you can get a little bit closer. Of course, some people will choose to go up. On some faces, you can't reverse an up on the chin, depending how thick it is. It's possible, but it'll be quite a risky act. So again, this is a technique that just helps break down that hair. And of course, if you can hear it through the microphone, I'll do it this side. You can just hear the little bits it's picking up. Did you get that, James? Do you reckon?
Okay.
So again, now it's a matter of checking over the areas. So around here. Again, in the same way, so on the reverse side of this, I push the nose that way, the mouth that way, and I can get in with my razor there, and I've got real good control over how that's going. Again, this bit here, you can stretch it like this and get in there, or you can stretch it sideways and come ever so slightly sideways, and again, get that area nice and tight. So as I'm checking this over, we'll be thinking about our next steps. So what we want to do now is soothe the skin, rehydrate it, stop any further irritation as we go on. So in this case, we're going to put another little face wash on, just bring that in. And again, with a hot towel, cleanse that off and cleanse any hairs that are on the skin before we moisturise. And again, one thing about checking is it gives you a nice clean surface just to see if you've missed one hair or so. So what we do now is we're going to have a post-shave balm. And again, these kind of products, if they're specifically for shaving, will generally be packed with vitamins that are suitable for the rehydration of your skin and the protection of your skin. Stuff like A and D, which helps promote well-being of the skin. Let's not forget it's the biggest organ in your body. Some people don't think that, but there you go. So once that's on, then we finish off with some face moisturiser. And we can use that across the face to rehydrate it all. And again, I massage this in the same way that I would do the oil. So we're working that in, pushing up against the senses, the sinus, the glands, just really making that client relax in the chair. For me, the whole point of having a shave at a barbershop, not only is it about the experience from having someone do a shave for you, because it's somewhat a mundane act at home, is to, as they come off the chair, as you lift them up, as they look into the mirror, as they're feeling fresh, the whole experience has been just everything's elevated. Their senses are elevated. They can breathe better. The smells they're smelling are better. And again, something I would do is spray them with not on the skin, but kind of behind their ears and around the neck. I normally get some, really strong, like post aftershaves and stuff, or anything that's kind of got a strong smell, like a tonic, like a hair tonic, for example. And I'll really kind of work it in to the back of the neck. Yeah. Sometimes, even in the past, I've used stuff like tiger balm. And again, something like that releases the tension. Okay. So what I tend to do is I'll show you quickly, is drop the headrest and let them rest their head into my hands. Okay. Now, a lot of you barbers have probably had physio on your neck at some point, and there's a really nice point where the muscles in your neck meet your shoulders, and that point there is just so relieving, especially when you've been sitting back, and if someone's got tension, and a lot of the time you can feel the muscle. So that's something that we add in. Rest the head, just stretch into the muscle there. They're quite tender, so you don't want to be too tough, but these muscles here, and again, once you've got a little bit of balm or shaving, post-shave cream or anything that's like really nice and strong, that will waft into their face anyway, but this really relieves a lot of tension. Okay, it's really nice kind of bonus at the end of a shave. So again, pop that up, and then obviously I'll have the client sitting up and he'll be smiling and ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's our interpretation on how we do a shave here at Alternative Barbering Co. Obviously, we've used a mixture of our 13-step shave from wall, products from BBA. And like I said, it's really important to kind of maybe stick to one range when you're doing something like a shave, because they're all the skincare products, regardless of what range, are made to match each other and work specifically in that way. So, like I said, I hope you enjoy and enjoy the rest of the show. I'm sure you'll be hearing from Simon to introduce our next act. And if you want to come back, have a look at it. And don't forget our tab on the side. All the products we've used today are there for purchase or for more information. And hope you enjoy. Thank you very much.